Hello folks, Rivet here. I'm going to give you a little interim update on the garden, on what's going on. I just came back from my nature center and I had a good long discussion with the owner, I guess, and the lady who runs the place. And I needed some food, plant food, because I can't rely on just a compost tea, which I've got going right there all the time. And I didn't necessarily want something that I could have to mix with water. And she recommended, of all the stuff she sells, this was by far probably the cheapest. She sells a lot of of the line of Dr.Earth, and she says she uses it in her own home, and out of all the things that she sells in her store, this is the one that works the best. But something that I wanted to read to you about this. It's organic, dry vegetable food. It's especially good for chilies and tomatoes and herbs. And it says, enriched with Alaskan fishbone meal, high country feather meal, Norwegian cold water kelp meal, valley grown alfalfa meal, colloidal soft rock phosphate, Alaskan fish meal, naturally mined potassium sulfate, concentrated seaweed extract blended with 100% pure love. Well, I don't know about all that, and I want to know how naturally mined potassium is to begin with, and I want to know what the heck unnaturally mined potassium is. Do they use organic steam shovels? Maybe they're hydrogen solar powered, you know, digging machines? I don't know. But anyway, I thought that was funny. I can't imagine that Norwegian cold water kelp meal is any better than Japanese deep water kelp. But anyway, it sounds good. So here's what we got. And I already ripped off the little zip top thing, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's a dry powder. Let's see if we can look in here in the sun. You see? Yeah. And you use a 1/4 cup for 5-gallon bucket full of soil. And I'm going to use, of course, and you're supposed to mix it in with the soil before you plant the plants, but I've already planted all my peppers. So I've got my measuring spoon here, and it looks like I'm going to put 2 tablespoons per pot, and we're going to scratch it into the soil and then just water it. And it's good for 6 to 8 weeks. So the yield is extraordinary. This sack of fertilizer will last me well. I'll have left over at the end of the year. Anyway, I want to show you a couple things of some other chili plants too. Alright, let's go to this one. This one is one of those unknown ones in my last video that I had no idea, and it got fried by the sun, and you can see how the top is pretty much dead. And I was just going to pluck it out, but look at all that little side growth it's got right there. This plant is hanging on, and it did that the other day when I fed it a mild solution of Miracle Grow. And so instead of plucking it, I'm going to scratch the soil and I'm going to feed it that Dr.Earth stuff. And this is going to be our running experiment. See if I can bring this back to life. And not only that, see what the heck kind of pepper it is. I murdered some plants today. I can't lie. That double boot jalokia that I told you I couldn't bring myself, well, I did. I pulled it out, so I saved the strongest, heaviest one. And you can see how nice it's doing. The Bacludi, not the boot jalokia. I'm sorry, the Bacludi. And I murdered another couple of my magical mystical peppers. These in the yellow pots. These are doing okay. You can see there. Can you see the stems? I pulled 2. And I saved, although this wasn't technically the best looking because it has that burnt leaf there. The stem was the strongest. It was the straightest. and you can see here's one of the victims. I thought, and it was in the center of the pot, so I thought I'm going to save that. Over here, I talked about leaf curl with a lady, and I told her that I was using that Super Cow and all what I was doing, and I murdered some plants here too. This one looks like a double, but it's actually one plant. It's split at the bottom. And this leaf curl, she said, if I'm using that calcium and it was responding nice, these plants are just stressed. So if you notice, I've taken off the bottom plate, and she said let them drain better. Even though the plant's roots aren't all the way to the bottom of the pot, that sitting moisture down there can't be good for them. And now once the plants get bigger and the roots are hanging out, you know, if they suck that plate dry within an hour after watering, you're okay. But this water was sitting there, and that's not good. Plus, she said, as small as they are, they're curling their leaves because they're trying to protect themselves. They're just getting too much sun. So I'm going to go down this line of peppers, and I'm going to move them to a different location where they're going to get a little less sun, or straight sun. They're going to be in a partial shade, dappled shade, in the afternoons of the big sycamore tree, and that ought to help them until they get a little bit stronger. Alright, here we go. What I'm doing is I'm scratching up the soil like so, probably to a depth of an inch, maybe 2, and once it's loose, you can see it's moist down in there. It's okay. It does probably need a little watering. I'm going to take a generous tablespoon out of here, and I'm going to sprinkle it all around like such, and then I'm going to just mix it back in like you would a spice rub when you're cooking or something. And I'm going to do this to all my pepper plants, okay? The larger containers are going to need 2 tablespoons, and then you just water it, and this is good for 6 to 8 weeks. And this stuff is also sold in liquid form, but I bought the this powdered form because it has the probiotics. It has those microbes and mycorrhizae that the liquid form of Dr.Earth did not have. And since I'm using compost tea through foliar feeding and a little bit of in the ground, this is definitely going to be even better. It'll work in tandem. And as you can see, it has all these bacillus, lactobacillus, rhizobacter, and mycorrhizae in these amounts, which is propagules, or I would guess colonies per cubic centimeter, and that's quite a lot. 1430. I don't know much about mycorrhizae. I'm not a botanist, but that certainly sounds good to me, numbers like that. So we'll see. I will keep you guys posted on the success of this. I'm very interested. I've had good results with the Dr.Earth stuff before, so we'll see where we go. Again, thanks for stopping by the hacienda. You're always welcome here, and it's good to see you again. Take care.